Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast to some degree. For those of you who are new here or don't know us, we are your number one companion to navigating the post-grad lifestyle. Whether you're in grad school, the workforce, or somewhere in between, we want this podcast to make you feel seen as a young adult in this ghetto world.
Very ghetto. Very ghetto.
And I'm Jahari. Oh, did I interrupt you?
No, of course not.
We can talk about how ghetto it is. I mean, well, the episode's kind of about how ghetto it's getting. So we'll get there. Well, I'm Jahari, your favorite co-host, the mouthy one who talks over Brittany, and the resident BA of the duo.
And I'm Brittany, your other co-host, your resident STEM-loving entrepreneur and all-around nerd.
Nerd alert.
Yeah. This man ain't going off camera to laugh. That's all I know. Oh my god.
Nerd alert. Anyway. Well, so let's start with something light. Where is life? I know you're going to try to evade saying something, and you're probably going to edit out. You're probably going to edit this out so that I don't actually say this.
I won't edit it out, but
but
I would rather not say. No.
Well, I'll go first. Yeah. Let me see. Well, I started another job.
Wait, before you update, just for the record, it's been about a month and a half between the last recording and this one. So we have a lot to update and just kind of catch up. So
well,
if it seems like a big jump from last time.
We actually don't know when we recorded the last episode.
Yeah, we tried to figure that out. I just don't remember at all.
Just know it's been some time. It's been at least a month. It's been at least a month.
It's definitely been.
I don't believe we recorded at all in February. So we've gotten older since the last episode. Yeah. Brittany being the oldest.
We've changed ages.
Yes. Brittany being the oldest, of course. And then there is me. Yeah, of course.
What does that mean?
Well, you all tell her in the comments. And then
what does that mean? Isn't this your first time putting on a professional shirt? Oh, my bad.
Not at all. Not at all. Don't even try to play me like that. I literally have a picture of us, and I'm in a suit in the picture.
That's true. I was literally going to post that one instead of the one that I posted. I was like, oh, I should post our graduation photo. It's so cute.
Not that. I meant before that. Even before that. I actually have one all the way. Oh, wait, you're not in that picture. But someone else is, and so that picture needs to be deleted. But nonetheless, it's deleted off my Instagram, but it's not deleted out of my phone. But anyway,
deleted off your Instagram. You got one photo.
There's three. And some of them have multiple slides, so there's like 20.
Right. Okay.
In any case, y'all, so we've gotten older, but clearly not more mature. We have gotten. Well, I've gotten a new job.
Congrats.
Brittany, did you get a new job? Actually, I'm scared. I don't know when this is going to be released, so I don't want to say too much. I'm definitely just saying that I got a new job because if you check my LinkedIn, it will show that my most recent job has already finished. Like it has an end date because, when you exit, they tell you, please update your LinkedIn. Do not act as if you are still an employee here. And I'm like, no problem.
No problem at all.
No problem.
Yeah. No, I did not get a new job, Jahari. I didn't. I did move up in the company.
Okay. You're comfortable with saying that?
Yeah. I got a promotion. Hooray!
Okay. Wait, where are the balloons?
How do you do the balloon emoji thing? The thumbs up?
I don't know.
It happens randomly. I don't know. Anyways, you want to talk about your new job at all, or?
No, I'm not going to because I'm going to keep it a secret actually because, well, I'll tell you when this is over. Anyway, so let's get into the agenda.
Wow, that was a shift.
Yes. One of the things that has changed since the last time we talked, I believe, is the inauguration. So we have a whole new president. Yeah. I think the last time we talked, he had been elected, but he had not been. edit this out because we could go to jail for saying this, actually.
No, because literally, like on TikTok, I saw something. I was like, "That's kind of crazy," but we're gonna move on.
Yes. Yes. So, as you all know, or you may not know, um, I work in a nonprofit space. I can't remember if I said that before or not.
No, you have.
But because of that, my job is potentially in jeopardy at any given moment, either due to political attacks of nonprofits. You know, they've tried to pass a bill to basically which would give the government free reign to eliminate nonprofits out of operation if they were um, like deemed to be supporting terrorist activity. I don't remember the exact words, but like similar to the things that are happening regarding pulling money from universities or
Yeah.
attacking certain businesses because of them not aligning with their agenda. Let's leave it there. Attacking the nonprofits that do not align with their agenda, which would be most nonprofits, because you don't become a nonprofit to take away people's health
Right.
access.
Literally,
So
exactly.
it's a pretty overwhelmingly like dissident sector to this current administration. But um yeah, so that could happen, or funding could run out. You know, people
Mm.
with money are very scared to
Support these
give
things now.
people
Yeah.
money,
Right.
which seems like the opposite of what we've been told that money does. And we could
Right.
also have a whole discussion about that. But this is not a political podcast. This is a post-grad podcast. Um, but please don't become a sellout. That's my lesson from that. Don't become a sellout when you graduate, if you weren't already.
The shade.
I don't know who's listening, but anyway, if you know you are, then you are. But
If
one
that
thing that
resonated with you, okay.
yes, well, and then also because the the in their efforts to eliminate excessive spending and bureaucracy, they
Hmm.
are eliminating federal funding for a lot of things,
Yeah.
which impacts my job to my earlier point, but also it's going to impact our lifestyle. Now, I do not have any debt, thank
That
God.
is a blessing for
I
you.
don't have any debt.
I do.
Well, and then you can speak to this because the 2026, if you all don't know, the federal, I don't actually. Let me not. I was thinking of the DC fiscal year in my head actually, and it was about to say that it's the federal fiscal year, but it is not. In any case, as you all know, they have to vote on a budget this month, uh, or the government shuts down,
Hmm.
which means nobody's getting anything
Nothing.
because whoever's left will not be there. So, in any case, in his proposal, or in the proposal being pushed by the Republicans forward for the budget, could have a couple of like significant effects on higher ed, affordability, and funding. So, your student financial aid,
Yeah.
um, the in previous years, and also in this current proposal, suggests that he wants to scale back federal student aid programs, right? So think of your Pell Grants would no longer, at
The push
least no
part.
longer be at the level that they are, but they might
Yeah.
completely disappear. Who knows? But that usually supports your low income students. So basically, creating another barrier where the federal government is preventing young people who do not come from money from accessing any type of college, because all colleges cost,
Right.
without debt. Let me say it that way. You can
Yeah.
go,
You
but you
can
will
go.
be indebted to whomever.
Yeah.
And then that also means that work study will either dramatically decrease or cease to appear, which means there's no money waiting for you every 2 weeks or every week, however often you get paid, um, from working on campus, and kind of helping pay your way through in that regard. And then also, repayment plans will be probably become less generous under
Yeah.
his administration. One thing about the feds and their like oversight about like, or how they can provide oversight to predatory loaners and like the companies that will give you money to
Mhm.
get through college because they plan on tacking a 30% interest rate on it. Your repayment terms may be far less generous than they were
Mhm.
under the previous administration. Again, I don't know about this personally. I'm just reporting the news. Research funding. If you are in STEM, if you are in the humanities, if you are in any professor's lab,
Yeah.
investigative group,
Research
whatever.
grants are
Right.
also very difficult to write
Exactly.
under the current terms because there's so many like buzzwords that you have to avoid now
Right.
within your research. And if your research is, you know, kind of to your point, like, oh, nonprofits do things for certain groups of people, like
Right.
most research does things for certain groups of people,
Right.
and now you can't use those buzzwords, but you still have to show yourself or like prove the research that you've been doing for years is actually
Right.
worth something. So yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah, so like if you're NIH funded research, um, I was just reading today that like this morning on the way to work that they've decreased like you know how we love the company cards, right? So the company cards that exist in the government have a $1. Excuse me, sorry. I keep feeling like I was gonna burp. Um,
The-
Not demure at all. I would not have been able to mute myself fast enough. But anyway, that there's a $1 spend limit on the cards, which means it's like things like trash pickup at our national parks done.
oh.
Because how they would be paying because if I'm not mistaken, they probably contract because it's such a large scale. They probably contract with people, companies,
Mhm.
if not one, multiple, right, or if not multiple, one, to kind of like eliminate waste out of those public areas, and because of how many people visit national parks or national kind of landmarks, that can be a hefty bill, definitely more than $1.
Right.
And so there is no way to pay them. So that will stop. You know, people who are working in the FDA to like review your food, they can't pay to publish their research.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
this didn't the CDC go first already?
I wouldn't be shocked by that. I
Yeah.
actually don't know. I don't want to say that like that's for sure, but I'm just talking about spending. The FDA is not
Oh,
gone,
fair
but the
enough.
FDA cannot publish anything because in order to publish things,
No, I think it's the
right,
same
right.
in the CDC. Like they can't
Oh, I see
publish.
what you're saying. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. I thought you meant like agency gone.
No, no. Oh my, that
Um,
would be, we would be done.
well,
Like
we're kind
imagine
of
like
already
COVID
done.
coming back, but we don't know.
Right. We'd be
Like,
depending on China, which is like, again, this is not a political podcast, but we are depending on China. And literally every other China. I don't want to actually let me not go too far because then they'll say I'm like a Chinese loyalist and then try to like disappear me to Louisiana somewhere in the
yeah.
swamps.
See, the thing
Um,
is, as we're talking about this, we also have to navigate what we say.
right, right. Uh, and then also, this is my last thing. His previously he was supportive of eliminating the public service loan forgiveness program. So if you decide to
Yeah.
take on a public service job and you've been repaying your loans for a decade, that they'll be forgiven. Um,
Is that
that
one called Save or is that another one? I forget. I don't know. Maybe you don't know the name of
okay. Now I was about to say I work around this stuff, but I
it.
am not this. So look it up.
Hmm.
Okay, but yes, but like obviously if you are well, first of all, there will be no government for you to work in. If you ever thought about working in the federal government, that is over. At least for the next couple of years. And who knows, depending on what happens over this time, if there was a more progressive administration to take and saying more progressive in this sense really is anybody. That's like not actually I can't say that on this podcast. But like more progressive, a more progressive administration coming in and like deciding to do the things to restore what we've been um, accustomed to and lost under this current administration.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh, hello there. My name is Taz. I'm your companion to some degree. Pun intended, of course. You'll see me around a lot more as the season goes on, and hopefully with improved animation. I wanted to thank you for watching, and remember, please click that bell icon, like, comment, and subscribe. Now, back to the show.
You would not be able to work in the federal government. And because the federal funding would not reach the states in the ways that they have become accustomed to as well, that the job that you may want, food safety, teaching,
Yeah.
anything, done.
Yeah, I think I think we're really or wanted to start having this conversation because it's like if you were thinking about going in these fields or if you didn't think about, how your student loans were going to change, we wanted to make you aware of it, right? Because like,
Yes.
even with the SAVE program, I was just looking it up. It's basically where it cuts your overall like calculated like how much you would spend by the end of all
Hmm.
your interest and stuff in half. But uh, that's going away. So it's like things like that make things more affordable for life once you're out of
Yeah.
college. If you have those things like that,
Yeah.
you're not going to be there anymore. Um, so just be cautious and like think about ways
Yes.
to.
The post grad experience is still informed by the undergraduate experience.
Yeah.
So, or the graduate experience, depending on where you are, like we said in the introduction of this podcast. So, with that, the agenda section is over. So I'm curious, Brittany. I mean, because, like you said, you encourage student debt. I'm curious what you would do differently if you could go back. I mean, you could choose like which frame you want to go with this. If you were to go back and like we miraculously go back to a pre-pandemic America and it's 2019, 2018, 2019 and we're making these decisions all over again, what you would do differently or if you were to go to grad school now, which is a little bit different of a landscape, but like how you would do that differently knowing what you know coming out of undergrad.
Yeah. I would honestly educate myself more on loans because I think I don't really have like a huge problem with paying back my loans and stuff, but it's just the
Oh, she's
way.
rich.
No, that's not what I mean. I just mean like I pay them back on time or monthly whatever, but it's just like the way I went about getting certain loans
Hmm.
like the subsidized versus unsubsidized XYZ, like things like that. I was just like, oh, I don't have to pay it right now. And I just kind of let it build in whatever way. And I will say that for me personally, I had the grace period like during COVID or like that came out of COVID, right?
Mm,
People don't have that anymore either. So
yeah.
like there's some things that you also just have to think about, like when does interest start back up? Like
Mm,
there's just some things that you have to do your own research on when you're um, getting student loans, especially from the government. But even, I mean, even personal loans as well. But just make sure you educate yourself on what and when and how,
yeah.
things actually happen so you're not like underprepared once you get out of college and you're like,
Right.
I took out this $10,000 loan. Like, why is it at 20,000? And yeah, just kind of prepare yourself for whatever comes with that. I will say, with what I know now, or like even what we were just talking about, going into grad school again,
Which I
that
heard you may be doing soon.
he's lying, Chad. He's lying.
That
Um,
is what I heard.
Absolutely not. We might have a guest or two coming up soon that is gonna do some posts grad schooling, but
Oh,
it's not me. It's not me.
well, close enough.
Close enough is crazy. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like it's gonna be again like you really just have to educate yourself on what's staying, what's going away, how
Yeah.
you know, and evaluate your own situation going into
Yeah.
it, and just make sure that like it'll be sustainable for you
And
because
I really hope that like, are you done? I don't
yeah,
mean to
no,
interrupt
no,
you.
no.
But like I really hope that the like college access and success like programs that have been around and can give you that advice, can show you to the
Yeah.
scholarships, can show you where to get free money, um, or money that doesn't help make you incur debt or not as much debt as you would otherwise, that they get to stay around.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard that be prioritized. Like when people are dishing out money, even like the small and this is like now getting into what philanthropists do, which is not what this podcast is about. But the stuff that we depend on to be able to be counseled through these experiences, especially when you're first gen, or like you just generally do not have the guidance, even if you're not first gen, but you just have don't have the guidance. No matter where you're choosing to go to school,
Hmm.
that a lot of those programs are funded by some federal dollars at times, right? Like some, like donations and all that type of stuff. And if there's a recession, the donations will not happen,
Right.
and
That too.
and everybody's getting laid off, so there will be a recession.
Hmm.
Um, they will probably not call it that because the last time we had a recession, the last time we had whenever there's a recession, there's always a uh, almost near guarantee, at least in my opinion, from my historical study, that there will be uprisings
Yeah. Yeah.
because people will have nothing to lose anymore, right? And so it'll be very interesting to see if it does happen, what does go on, and then also, yeah, there's just so much to this. There's just so much to this. I would also say like be prepared and be in community with other people and in organizations that like can support you through this, like
Absolutely.
that still have knowledge, whether that be your like college success program, your scholarship program, whatever, and stay in contact with them. Or I know, I believe there's like a debtors union, like people who owe debt, student debt, medical debt, whatever. There's like a union for those people. I keep forgetting what it's called, but that exists if you want to look at that. Um, yeah. I don't know how this really became to some politics today.
Yeah. I mean, I would really just say like, gosh, like use your resources. I mean, I know not everyone has, their parent that, went to college or anything like that, but you went to college with other people that, have those people in their life, or
Yeah.
you know, your mentors and people that you build in your circle, they are there to help you. So lean on them and like figure out, different things that are kind of changing over time, because like me and Jahari are kind of removed from, the student world, but
Well, we're about to officially enter into I'm sorry, we're officially about to age out of recent graduate categories
no,
because I think it's
literally.
only like 2 years. Like it's like
Yeah,
2 years and then you're no longer a recent grad. Goodbye.
right. And it's like I haven't thought about school in so long. Like it feels like it's been years at this point. I'm not even
Yeah,
gonna lie.
it does feel like a long time. It
Yeah.
does feel like a long time. And I think that's because the days are going by fast, but life is being lived.
Exactly.
So
No,
so there
literally
is
that.
there is there is like a different time warp, very similar to like pandemic time warp, where it's like
Hmm.
when you think about like, oh, it's been 5 years since the pandemic started officially. Um, yeah, like can you fathom that? Like
No,
five, and then
like
also 5 years ago we were
insane.
19.
Yeah. Like when my 5 year, high school reunion hit, I was like,
Wait, actually, you're 5 years from 19. I just turned 21 again.
all right, now you're already acting like our parents. I'm 27 for life. Like, oh boy.
Well, I can't even say I'm 27 for real.
Yeah, exactly. But you're like, I'm 21 for life. I don't know what
Right,
you're
right.
talking
Literally the stage of life I'm in right now is like I'm 21 for life.
about. I'm done. No. Okay, I would say I'll be okay with being 22 for life. 21 for life?
I
That's
think you're like
insane.
reminiscing on. I feel like you're reminiscing on was going on in your life when when we were 21.
Exactly.
But that's
And I
not.
don't want to be in school still. Like, no. Put me in 22.
Well, 22, we were still in school. Hello? Hello? We
For
literally
like a
turned
couple of
22.
months.
Yes, but like if you're stuck there, we're still in school.
No.
We're stuck there. So maybe you need to be 23
Absolutely not.
forever. It's
No.
23 that you need to be forever. That's
No.
funny.
But yeah, just kind of going back, use the internet too. Like I know we just had our little ChatGPT episode in our last episode, but use
Yeah.
those resources. Like literally look up whatever you need to look up and it'll be there. Uh,
Yes. But please stop using
for,
AI.
for now.
It hurts the environment.
Yeah.
Do you want to strangle me for saying the quiet part out loud?
Of
Big
course.
tech hates the environment.
Yeah, we hate them.
I'm gonna have the Silicon Valley lobbyists are gonna be at my neck
I'm
when
done.
this comes out.
I'm gonna bleep certain names as well.
Oh yes, yes. Bleep. Well, if that's the case, then let me say it. No, actually, I'm not gonna say that. You'd have to bleep the
It'd just
whole
be like a
sentence.
long bleep.
You'd have to bleep the whole sentence and probably cover my mouth too, so they can't recover what I was
Yo,
saying.
yeah, 100%.
But yeah. Well, I'm curious before we
Mm.
log off, really quickly, just to lighten the mood again. What, who's like your dream third co-host? Like, if we had another co-host for an episode, who do you think? Who would it be?
Dream.
I have mine.
You know what's crazy? And since I also recently just graduated out of my women's empowerment leadership program, there is this woman that I met. Her name is Matilda. She is like one of the best speakers I've ever had, like ever. And she has like an amazing perspective on like just life. I would love to
Mm-hmm.
have her on the podcast.
Okay.
Granted, I don't think that she would, but she has a
Right.
lot of things going on. But she would be absolutely amazing.
Mine is Sweetie.
Real, real. Honestly, I can't even hate you for that.
Mine is Sweetie. I think it would be so fun. And then I hope she would send us like a Sweetie. Actually, no, don't send me anything from McDonald's. But she could send me a little ice for my wrist for the episode, or for
Okay.
my neck, so you all can see it. Well, don't get too close on my neck. But
Oh, he's like, I'm going towards the camera.
yeah, but yes, ice on the neck. Um, yeah, cause she went to USC.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I
And
don't
she got
really.
her degree in communications. And that
Love
was
it.
like at that time, it may still be, is the number one communications program in the country. Right, yeah.
I'll talk
Shout
to
out to
her.
Sweetie.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sweetie and all of her
We still
famous
want to be
cousins.
sponsored by Bay's
Right.
Sweeties Next.
Wait, has Sweetie collabed with Bays?
I don't know. That would be kind of cool though.
Icy Girl Luggage?
Chill.
Well,
Chill zone?
actually,
Chill zone?
yes. Matter of fact, you all go into the chill zone and tell us what collabs we should
Yes,
do.
absolutely. The chill zone is on our landing page if you don't know from YouTube probably, but if you go to our Instagram, our landing page is there. Um, Also in our YouTube bio as well. So yeah, just check that out and
Well, yes.
definitely
And get
join
down
us.
with us in the
We would love
comments,
it. We should
Like,
answer just one of the
oh,
questions that someone
go
left
ahead.
from last time. I
Go
will
ahead.
see if I can find one that would be good. Um, this is a question that came from an audience member. Are we all faking it till we make it?
Yes. Life is a performance.
Agreed.
Life is a performance. We are always constantly negotiating who we are, who we want to be to other people, how we want to show up in front of other people, how we want to show up in front of others, if we don't want to show up at all, and how we want to perform in terms of like why we may not be showing up, right? Like, oh, my dog died. Never had a dog. That's a performance, right? And like
Right.
putting on all of that just to do something as basic as to say no, which is already its own complete sentence that needs no further explanation. But anyway,
Right.
um, yeah, I yeah, life is a performance. Yeah, we're all faking it till we make it.
Yeah.
Even the
Just to
most
add to
successful
that, yeah.
amongst us. They
Yeah.
are also faking it. You can tell by the fact that they don't want to put their money where their mouth is anymore.
I'm done.
Remember what I just said in the last segment? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
them. That's
Yep.
them.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, just adding to that, like, honestly, there's an art to everything. And, like, I think there is an art. I mean, going back to our branding episode, there's an art to brand yourself. There's an art to, saying no. Like you just said, there is an art to everything. And if you don't feel like you have that art yet, or like you're perfected it to um, whatever, serves you, then you gotta fake it until you do pick up that confidence or that, um, I don't know, whatever it is that, makes you you and how you want to brand yourself, how you want to, put yourself out there. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm a avid fan of just saying that I'm good at something until I actually am.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think in a way that's faking it, but like at the same time, I think it's just putting
yeah,
it into practice until it like actually comes
yes.
naturally. Um, so yeah, yeah,
I think that's a solid way to end the episode.
yeah.
And until next time, I didn't actually expect this episode would be 30 minutes, but it is. And until next time, you know, protect your energy.
Facts.
Um, be aware of what's going on around you.
Right.
And like, comment, and subscribe.
If you haven't
And
done so.
yes, and then get into the chill zone.
Yeah.
Her.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
interact with us. As you saw in that last little segment there, we're taking audience questions now,
Yes.
putting polls up on the Instagram. If you leave comments under our YouTube page or like even our Spotify, I think Spotify has
Yes.
some comments too.
Brittany will
So
respond to you.
yeah, yeah, that's all
Um,
me.
yes. And I may respond to you, but it'll be from my page,
Right,
not the page, but it'll be from
right.
my page. So if you say something silly, I'll call you a silly goose in the comments.
Absolutely. Or he might drop his favorite quote from the episode. What was your favorite one from last time?
Don't
That just
brand
dropped?
yourself as, now you've branded yourself as a liar.
Now you're branding yourself as a liar. That's
That's not my favorite quote of the episode. That's my favorite quote of the entire series.
true, true. That's far for sure.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll have some more, hidden little awesome moments. I still need to make that into a sound on TikTok. Anyways, getting into random territory. Oh yeah,
Yes.
follow us on TikTok too, if you
Yes.
don't.
Exactly. Yes. And then see my comments. I mean, sorry. See the clips of me commenting while I'm looking up at a place that is not there. I'm looking at
It has a
Neverland.
non-existent
Heaven.
screen up
Heaven.
here.
There are angels in front of me every time I record these episodes, and so I'm always watching to see if they're about to carry me somewhere.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Bye.